Yes, it should be okay now. So welcome again to this third and last session on SUR module. So we have seen the sessions before. We have provided you with an overview of UCMS, of the Uniform Capabilities Management System. We presented an end-to-end process, how everything should be done in terms of reimbursement of troops and police. And we have those two first sessions, and this one we will continue on the SUR module, meaning the statement of unit requirement, how to create that in the system, how to create, yesterday we have seen how to create an SAT and how to create an SUR from an SAT, which the SAT allows us, as we have seen, to not start from scratch all over again each time, but to have a kind of frame already, and it's easier to create an SUR. You only have to update it. So that's what we have seen yesterday. So what we are going to see today, so we will have a short review exercise. And we will then go in the system. We will not spend too much time. It will be much more hands-on. We'll go directly in the system and show you how to create an SUR without a template. So this is actually, it will be quite fast, since the different steps are quite similar to what we have seen yesterday. So we will see etc. And also how to report, how to export the different reports, how to print, etc., etc. And actually, this will be the end of the navigation checklist that you have received on the first day. So you remember, Daniel went through the first steps on the first day. I explained yesterday a few other steps, and then today we will finish this guideline for UCMS basic navigation by presenting the printing, by presenting the export and reporting. Okay, so this will be actually closing all the points, and then you can also finalize the exercise that we have handed or sent to you on Tuesday. Then you can send us back the exercise on navigation. So this was the agenda for today. Before starting really into our third session, I just wanted to mention a few points that I've seen in the exercises that some of you have already done. So you have been asked to create an SAT, and you have been asked to create an SUR from an SAT. Some of you, I think, and I will highlight that later when I create, again, when I go in the system and create an SUR. Some of you did not attach any, it was optional. Some of you did not attach any file to the SUR. Which was okay, but I will show you again how to do that in case you missed that point. I will also make sure that we go into the system document, and I will download the template for the main body of the SUR, which I think yesterday I went too quickly about that. So I will redo that, kind of a review. And I will also, once I'm creating the SUR and the different annex, I will show you again how to create special case equipment, which is not in the COE manual. I think yesterday we mentioned it, but I did not show you how to do that. I will do that again. That is the outcome of yesterday exercises. And so if you still have questions, please do send that via the chat addressed to all panelists. And otherwise, we still have no, 1 hour support session after today, so no worries. Some of you sent questions that we could not answer, but due to the time difference and time zone difference, we could not answer or react directly. So we can still support and answer your questions, even if it was on yesterday or the day before session. We are still available for any question 1 hour after this session. So as we've done yesterday, we have prepared a few questions, and I would like you to take the time to answer to them. So it's a very short review exercise. I will open it right now, and it should appear on your screen. So it's 5 different questions, and you have 4 minutes to answer to them. It's mainly questions on what we have seen yesterday, and the answers should be easy if you have followed and if you have done the exercises. So I give you a few minutes. You have 3 minutes and a half now to answer to the questions. You still have 1 minute and a half to answer the questions. I've seen that most of you have already finished. Fatou, good morning. I have put you as a panelist, and if you can please mute yourself, that would be very, very good. Thank you very much. Fatou, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Hey, good morning. Yes, yes. If you can please mute yourself, that would be very, very appreciated.
Okay. What would you
Thank you. So you still have 45 seconds to answer the questions. Yes, so the polling is now finished, and all the results. Just give me a few seconds to gather all that. Very good, very good. Let me see if I can share poll result, individual results, correct answer. Yes. Very good. So normally you should be able to see on your screen the result of no? Yeah? Good. So just to go through the questions, sorry, very quickly. Let me find myself up. So the first question was about the special case equipment, and yeah, that's apparently was not very clear. So actually, the answer was that you can create special case equipment only under the SUR module and MOU. Okay, so the SAT you don't need, or you are not able to create any additional item or special case item under the SAT. So it's only applicable for SUR and MOU. And I will show, maybe I will go again through that once I am in the system. So Fatou, I don't know if you can hear me. Sorry to, hello.
Hi. Can you hear us?
Yes, we can hear you. Can you please mute your microphone? Thank you. So yes, I will show you about the special case again a little bit later. The second question was, can an SUR be created from an expired SAT? And the answer is no. As we have seen yesterday, when you can only create an SUR from an active SAT. So when it's draft, you cannot create, and the system will not allow you actually, because the button create SUR will be grayed, and it's the same for the expired SAT. So I think all of you got that. From where the SUR main body text can be downloaded. And yes, it is from the system documents, as I just mentioned before, and I will show you again how to do that and how to upload it back in the system. Once, because you download the main body text from the system document, you download that, but you update it from the system, but you updated it outside the system, and then you have to upload it back once your SUR has been signed, etc. What are the different statuses for an SUR? And it is answer A, draft, internal concurrence, internally concurred. And actually, draft active expired is the statute of an SAT. So pay attention to that. Some of you did the mistake. For an SUR, the different statuses are either draft, internal concurrence, or internally concurred. Okay, and draft active expired is for SAT. The confidential elements of your SUR needs to be uploaded in the system, and the answer is no, of course. You mention that there is some or there are some confidential elements, but those remain outside the system. You do not upload, never ever upload the confidential element of your SUR, because as we've seen yesterday, if you have access to the SUR, everybody can see it. Okay. So you cannot insert your confidential elements there. You mention it, and I will show you where to mention it actually. Okay. So that was very short exercise. Thanks for for taking the time to do that. Yes, then there is an echo, no? Yes, sorry. Can you? There was a tiny issue with the sound, sorry. I hope it's better now. Okay, so let's go back to the content. And the topic of today is the creation of an SUR without SAT. So you do not have any template that is suiting your need. Okay, so you would have to start from scratch, and I will go in the system in a few minutes, but I just wanted to go back again to the end-to-end process of an SUR. So you remember the first step was the creation, let me highlight that. So the first step was the creation of a template, and that's actually where you create your SAT, right? From there, then you go to the draft your SAT, your SUR, sorry. And we have seen yesterday how to create an SUR once you have an SAT. Now today we will see how to do without, and it actually is under the same step there. So actually the steps that we have seen yesterday are quite similar to what we are going to see today. So very quickly, there is no existing SAT. So you create the SUR header. Oops, then there's a tiny problem with my, let me show them all. Voila. So you create the header, then you select the category, the unit type, the branch, the strength, etc. And of course, everything started by choosing if it's for a military, if you are creating an SUR for a military unit or for a police unit, okay? And then you create your Annex A header, you create your Annex B and C from scratch, you insert all the major equipment, the quantity, etc., etc., and then you create Annex C with inserting all the self-sustainment items, you select the provider, etc., etc. And then you go to the creation of your main body, which is here. This we will see how to download again from the system, document the template, you update it outside the system, and you upload it again once you have finished. And then all the rest, the steps are done outside the system. The creation, the additional, sorry, the details for Annex A and all the other annexes are done outside the system. There's an echo, right? Give me 2 minutes to fix the echo, and I'm back in 2. Okay, I hope it's better now. Sorry, we have an echo problem today. I hope you can hear me better. So I was saying that all the rest of the steps are done outside the system. So all the additional annexes, etc., are done outside. So then you generate your entire SUR documents for preview, and Danny will show us actually how to export all the elements that you have created in the system to attach it to your main body, etc., for signature. And then we go for approval. And at the moment, again, this approval process is done outside the system. So actually, I'm not going to spend more time on this PowerPoint, and I will go directly in the system and I will log in. I hope you can see my screen. Okay. Very good. So this is the landing page. Okay. We are again working on SUR module. So we click on SUR. Here we go. Yesterday, we showed the different SAT list and SUR list. And to create an SUR from scratch, we start from here, SUR list. Okay, so you remain on this page and you see all the SURs there. They're all listed. Okay, so you see, as we mentioned the day before, the list of existing SURs. This is the first part, and actually when you select one SUR, it's highlighted in blue in the list. Then on the bottom you see, at the bottom, sorry, you see the form part, okay, and you see the same the details of your SUR. So to create an SUR from scratch, it's just very easy and very similar to what we have done yesterday. So you have a button here, new, or a button on the form part in here, okay? And it will be very much the same effect. Either we click on the list side or on the form side. Once you have clicked on new, you see a new line appearing, okay? So by default, you already have some information. For example, the status of your SUR is by default draft. The substatus is by default work in progress. And the effective date is by default the date of the creation of your SUR, so the date of today. You see, the 24th of January. And you also have the version number. By default is the first, because, I mean, obviously you're just starting the creation of your SUR, so it's number 1. And as you can see, there is no SAT linked to it. So there is no name, SAT name here, because you started from scratch. It's not like yesterday when we created the SUR from SAT, you had a name on this column, right? So the first element that you would have to insert is the mission. So you select the mission that you are creating the SUR for. And as we've seen yesterday, the document number is created automatically by the system, so you don't have to create that, okay? Once you have selected the mission, you need to tell us, or to tell the system, is it for military or is it for police? And as we've seen yesterday, if you don't select the category, you cannot select any other information there, okay? So first step, I will create an SUR for police today, okay? And then from there, you can select the unit type, the branch, and you have always the drop-down list where you can select from. You see, for every single category. And you would have also to select the unit specialization, okay? And all those are mandatory. And as you can see, and as we've seen yesterday, you cannot go further. You cannot save your SUR, sorry, without inserting all the mandatory elements that are actually highlighted with the red star. Okay, so the system will not allow you to go further. So you'd have to insert the location. Okay. You'd have to insert the structure and the troop police strength. And you have two options again, either by typing it on your keyboard or by using the calculator tool. Okay. And we have seen as well yesterday that the effective date, how to change the dates of either by typing it. So imagine it's not effective as of today, but it's effective as the 1st of February. Okay, and so you can either type it manually with your keyboard or use the calendar tool. Okay. And actually, you can see here the different boxes with the date. So even if this is effective date, which starts later, you always have when the creation date. So you can always track it and record it. So now I think all the elements, mandatory elements, have been included. You can save it, and you see the name of your SUR has been automatically generated by the system. Okay. And as we've done yesterday, this is the SUR header. So you have created your SUR header, and you cannot go further before having done that. So once you have created your, that's the first step. You have created your SUR header. You can click on the hyperlink, sorry. And there you can see all the details. Okay, and that's where you enter the Annex A header, the Annex B, as you see it, Annex C, etc., etc. At this stage, you still can modify all the elements because it's on draft. Okay, so you can delete it, even delete it. You are able to delete the SUR because, as I said, the status is draft. I'll come back to the status and sub-status again later. So let's create Annex A header. Very simple. Click on the new button there because it's by default you land when you open your SUR. You land at the bottom. You see all the annexes, and you land on the Annex A header. So you click just there. And as we've seen yesterday, the unit strength is automatically populated because you have inserted the troop police strength in here. And if you change this, your Annex A unit strength is changing. Okay, so that's very similar to what we have done yesterday. That's Annex A. Annex B. Again, you first have to create your header before being able to create or insert any major equipment and any line item. Okay, so let me just scroll down a little bit, then you can see better. First, create the Annex A header. You can insert, and you see here the mission name is populated automatically. and you can insert remarks. It's a free text box. Similar to what we have done yesterday, to insert items, you just click on New, and then you will have a line created there. And you can either type, if you know which equipment you want, you can type it. Otherwise, since there's a lot of items, you can, it is better to search for it with the exact name, because maybe you might not recall the full name of the equipment that you want. So you can go page by page and search for it, or use the find option. It's always better to use the description. I'm going again with the telephone, and here we go. I can find and I can select the one that is suiting my need. Okay. Sorry. Then you click OK, and it appears in your line items, Annex B line item. It is in here. Before going further, you need to insert the quantity, how many items you need there. And you go on like that again and again. You can also use the query, as Danny showed, the query functionality. And so there you can insert, it's like a finding search tool. It's quite similar. Oh no, I need to click on Go. And there all the items are there, okay? Insert it, you put the quantity and any remark if needed. I will show you how to insert special case equipment that are not in the COE manual, okay? Actually, you need to search for to be determined element, okay? So there is one line. Oh, yes, here it is. Let me do that again because it went too quickly. So you click on New, and to be determined, find. Too quickly. Anyway, so you see, here you go. That's the line that I wanted to show you. So you see that? There's only one line code like that. So you have to select this specific item. You click on OK, and it appears on your Annex B line item, okay? And you insert the quantity, whatever. And in the remark, you need to specify what it is exactly that you need. So you need to provide the details of your special case, okay? I don't know if there's any question, Danny, at this stage before going to Annex C.
So far, no. Everyone seems to be quite quiet. I noticed that Shalini just joined in, so we may want to put her as a panelist. For the rest, as I said in the chat, you are most welcome to send your questions to all panelists, so all of us can answer right away the questions that you may have. Over to you.
Okay, thanks, Danny. Yes, Shalini is part of the panelist. So I hope this is clarifying, or at least providing more details on what we have already seen yesterday. So that's for Annex B, and as I said, you add as many items as you want under your Annex B line item. So once you have finished Annex B, you go to Annex C, and it's quite similar process. You need to create the Annex C header first, and then you are able to create and insert your line items, and you can select as many as you want or as needed, and you need to select the service provider from the drop-down list here, and automatically the applicable strength is similar to the troop police strength, okay, but you if needed, you can update it either by typing directly with your keyboard or by using the calculator tool, and so on and so on. It's so you can also use the query list, the query functionality, and look for the different category. And always have to click and select the service provider and the applicable strength. So this is for Annex C. Once you have done that, you have all finished to create your Annex C, you can go further and insert any attachment. As we've seen yesterday, there are two types of attachment, either file or new an URL, okay? And here I will just stop and go to the, because I would like to add as an attachment the main body, for example, main SUR main body. So how to do that? First, of course, you need to go and download your main body template from the system. And where it is? It is under System Documents, and it's in here. Okay, so I have by default the system document in my I can call it toolbar. I don't know how to call it. So it is my icon system document is in there. If it's not there, Danny showed how to look for it, right? So tool, user preference, tab layout, and there you look for your system document. And actually it's unticked, and it's meaning that it's not hidden. Okay, so it's already there. But if it's not, you need to go through that. Otherwise, a very handy tool and functionality is this globe, you know, the sitemap. I like it very much because sometimes I don't see an icon in my tab there, and I don't see it in the user preference. So you can use that one, and it shows you all the different icons, all the different screens that are available and linked to your account. So mine might be different from yours because I might have less rights or more rights than you. So how to see what type of screens and what type of icons and functionality you have is a very good tool. So it's here, the top right of your screen. You click on the globe there, sitemap, and this appears. And actually, you see that system document is in there. So you click on it. And this is, you see the icon is highlighted, so you are there in system document. And actually, this is all the part where the reference documents are stored and saved. And actually, this is the latest version. So we do recommend you to, each time that you don't go back to the previous SUR or main body template, I would say go always to the system document, because maybe the versions are slightly changing, but it's always better to always go to the system document and download your main body template, okay, which I will do now. You click on it, and you've seen that here at the bottom, my browser has downloaded, so I have to open it. You can see it. And here it is. I can open it. Okay. You should also double check, because maybe if you click on it and you don't see anything, sometimes it's because the pop-up, your browser is blocking the pop-up. So you should check if there is any error message, etc. So you should allow the pop-up for this UCMS website, okay? So where's my, voila. So this is my template, SUR main body template. So I have downloaded it. I will save it wherever you want to save it, okay? And update it outside the system. Very good. So now imagine I have updated it and my SUR has been approved. I need to go back to my SUR. Where is it? Yes, that's the one. You see? I open it, I go to attachment, and I want to insert my main body template there. Where is it? Yes, here it is. Okay, select it, and here it is. You can even insert a remark or comment in the box there. As I said yesterday, you can also insert an URL. So imagine your documents or your attachments are outside, are online, so you can do that. And it will be listed there. Okay? So that's for the attachment. And we have seen yesterday also the very handy audit trail functionality, which is really good because it's tracking all the different changes and main important changes in your SUR. So you can track it. It gives you who did it, because maybe you are not the only one working on that SUR, so you can track it easily with the dates, etc., etc. So to finish that, and then we'll check if there's any question. We go back to the statute, that's sub-statutes. For the moment, we said that the approval process is outside, it's done manually. So it's outside the system, but at a certain point it will be in the system. So we do recommend you as best practice to track the changes in your SUR. Okay, I will, for example, do that, and it will be reported as we see in here. It will be tracked in this tool. So that's what I've done. I go back. You have to leave and go back to it again to see the different changes. Here we go. Okay, then we see that I have changed the status. I have to change the sub-status. And actually, this is the end of the first part of this this session. So now you know how to create an SUR from scratch. We have seen that we need to first create the SUR header, insert all the mandatory fields that are highlighted or mentioned with a red star here. The system will not allow you to go further if those mandatory fields are not completed. And then once you have done that, you can create your Annex A header, your Annex B header, plus insert any items that needed. We have also seen how to insert special case equipment that are not in the CEO manual. We have seen how to create an Annex C header plus insert the items. We've seen how to insert attachments, and also where to find the SUR main body templates that are under system document and how to upload it. And we've seen the audit trail functionality, as well as the change of status and sub-status. So is there any question before we go further and talk about the reporting part, Daniel?
Hello, Zaida. Yes, we have a couple of comments or questions on remember yesterday we saw in an SUR there were 2 annexes. First time we saw that we are 2 line of annexes, right, with the same Annex B. Well, it's reported to be a bug because usually for now the Annex headers they will allow only 1, right? In the future, versioning will be an automatic workflow for that, but if you see 2 currently, that will be a bug in the system, and I guess that it's happening only in the training environment. On the other hand, some students were asking about how to print the annexes and report from the annexes that will eventually be printed out and along with the SUR to be signed, right? That's something that we will show in a minute. Over to you.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you, Danny. Yes, we will see how to extract, export, report on the Annex A, header B and C. And yes, yesterday we've seen 2 lines, but as Danny mentioned, we are in the training environment, so you might notice a few bugs here and there, but that's okay. At least at this stage, that's just training, and we can live with that. Normally, even if you see 2 lines, the system will not allow you to create 2 headers normally. See, you can only create 1 header per SUR. You can create as many items as you want, but not header. Okay, and you have first to create your header before creating the item lines, and this is valid for any annex. You can only create 1 annex header, and the system will not allow you. Even if you see 2 lines, this is just a bug, and I think I haven't tested it yesterday, but I think even if you see 2 lines, you want to create a new annex, the system will not allow you to. But voila. I think this is it for my part now. If there's no question, we can go further and explain how to export, how to print, and I will give the floor to Daniel, and I will monitor the questions. So please do continue sending your questions to all panelists. And Danny, normally you are now the presenter.
Okay, thank you very much, Zaida. Yes, we were going basically to continue, let's say, with the final part of navigation, which it's comprised of basically the printing part, exporting, and how to, let's see, print in a report format all the annexes that eventually will be added to the official documentation to be signed and endorsed and stamped and then uploaded eventually into the system. You see in the initial exercise that was sent to you on day 1, one of the point number 9 is how to print your records. Okay, so I'm going to go to the system already in the system, and that works for SUR list and SAT list, or eventually for MOUs and so on. The rest of documents in UCMS, pretty much it works in the same way, meaning that if you want to print a set of records, you will always have to go to menu, and from there go to first print preview. Okay, if you go to print preview, you will be added another tab in your browser. You see SURs, which only one line, and I wonder why I only have one line. And it's because initially in the list I only selected one line. You see the first one by default it's highlighted in bluish. So because I clicked on menu and then on print preview, the system understands that I want only to print the first line. So that's not the case. Let's see that we want to print out and see in a PDF version all the SURs currently stored in the system. Let me close this one. So I will have to go to menu again and select the option select all. Let's see if now it works. It's one of the options in menu. Let me see if it now is working. If not, I will. Okay, let me log in again. Okay, so menu, and down in one of the last options, it's here, select all, or you can Control A as well. Well, once you click on select all the different lines in the SUR list or SAT list works the same way, will be highlighted in blue. And from there, then you go to print preview. And in this new tab, you will surely have all the different lines of all the different SURs stored in the system with different statuses and referring to different missions and unit categories and so on and so forth. So even in a kind of like a clink of an eye, you will have a pretty good idea of how many SURs and documents you have stored in the system and the status of any one of them. If you do want to print it, you will be, sorry, I went probably too fast. I right click, I go to print, and then I can print it in PDF or select the printer closer to my the place where I work, right? So that will be kind of easy. You know, it's only to right click on the document, the newly created tab, and go into the print. If I click on print and I only want to print in PDF, I save it, and then I will have the same document in PDF here. You see PDF file, so that's the list of all the SURs that we have stored in the system. Okay, so that's it's quite handy and it's easy. Remember to select all the lines that you want to print, because by default only one, which is the first one, comes selected, right? The same works with the SAT list. As I said, menu, select all, and from there you can print preview. If you want to print automatically or directly, you will have to customize and the setup of the printer linked to the system. But that usually the workaround, in case that you don't have set up the printer, it's always to go to print preview. Okay, that's for SATs, right? And from there, you right-click and print. That's usually much faster than link the printer and set up the printer towards the UCMS system. So that's a workaround. For printing, not much has to be said. Remember that you do have to highlight all the records that you want to print. And then we're going to jump into the report part, and answering Jaime's question in the chat. It's basically in UCMS for SURs and SAT documentation. We are not doing like business intelligence reporting per se. I mean, the engine really works fine in terms of BI reporting, but probably for some other documents. Here in SURs and SATs, you basically are printing all the records for every annexes, for all the annexes, and then you want to attach all those annexes to the SURs, right? So it's not a report per se, but it's a list of records and items that you have stored in different annexes. And we'll show you how it works. First, I want to show you this icon, my VIP reports. VIP, I think, stands for Business Intelligence Process Reports. This is a, let's say, generic icon that it works in Civil and I need in general, and for ECMS. So if I click in my VIP reports, we are going to basically encounter the same, let's say, layout as we do in the different documents in ECMS. You see, initially you see a list of records always, which in this case are reports history. But if we are talking about SURs, we have a list of SURs. And below we have the parameters, specific parameters for each of the reports that I have created so far. So as I'm navigating for each of the records, my parameters below will change. It's telling me information about statuses, who is the owner, who's the output type. You see PDF or Excel, the file size, and so on and so forth. So BIP reports, initially, it's kind of like your inbox of all the reports that you have created so far. Okay, obviously, you can delete because these are your own reports. So meaning that Zaira, for example, when she goes with her profile and she goes to this icon, my BIP reports, she will have different inbox of reports than myself, because that depends on the number of reports that she's created, number of reports that I'm created. So this is personal, this is confidential, and this only belongs to each of the planners and his or her own credentials. So as I said, initially this stands like a inbox of reports. If you want to see a report that you have already created, let's say, for example, this Annex B example report that I created on January 9th. I click on the hyperlink. You see that there is a window underneath there that tells me whether I want to open or save it. I'm clicking on open, and this is a report, let's say, or a list of items under Annex B for this particular SUR. Okay, in this case, Annex B is major equipment. I have a list of combat vehicles, I have radio equipment, telephone equipment, medical and dental equipment that was created in the stage of the creation of the SUR. So this, Jorge, answering to your question, will be the document that you will want to print out and attach to the SUR to have it approved or stamped or endorsed offline, and eventually will be updated, uploaded into the system when everything is done. So, and see that either the printing and the reports are, let's say, created as a tab, right, in your browser, right? So please bear in mind that it's not a document per se, but it's a tab in your browser that then you can save as a PDF or print or share, depending on the different options that you may want to do. So I can close it as another tab. I see that I saw some pop-ups. I don't know whether we have questions so far. Nothing? Okay. So I continue. So my reports, you can retrieve any type of report that you have created previously. And now the question is how I do create a report. So here it will be, first we'll have to go to the SUR, in this case, that we want to create a report upon. So I will have to go to SUR. And from there I have my list of SURs. And for example, I'm interested to create a report of a list of items under, for example, Annex B for this particular SUR. So I will have to click on the hyperlink. And now specifically this SUR, I have, as Zaira explained yesterday and today, I have my Annex A, Annex B, as I'm navigating through the different annexes, Annex C. So my report on Annex B will be, once I click on Annex B here, header, and have a list of line items. In this case, I have plenty of them, right? As 13 different line items. I will have to, once I click on Annex B and I see the list of line items, I will have to go to this upper part of the screen where you see, let's say, a bar chart, I would say, and then the pop-up says reports. If I click there, the system understands that I want to create a report of a PDF, let's say, list of all those items included in Annex B, in the header B. So by default, when I click on the bar chart, another pop-up appears, blue, which is called Run Report. By default, the first field says wraps SUR Annex B. It's because I clicked on Annex B, the report will be on Annex B, and I cannot change. You see, you have an option of drop down, but you cannot change that. But you can customize the name of your report. So you can put Annex B test 2, for example. That's the name I want to put into my report. And then you want to select, you may want to select the output type. By default, you have PDF, but then you can change to Excel as well. And other options that I'm not quite sure whether they do work, but we have been told that basically select a PDF version, which it's the one that works very well. Because if you do want to export into Excel, we have another options that we will show to you after in a minute. So PDF, it's the option that I want to choose, and then the report, which is the report locale here. It's basically it's identifying the language that by default it's English. And once you are okay with the different options here shown in the screen, which is the name and the output type, you have to click on Submit. Okay. Now you see it's small. The system runs a little bit. So if you want to know the status of this report, you can go to My Reports here, or to My BIP Reports. This is basically the same thing. So once I click on My BIP Reports, the first record I see, it's Annex B Test 2. You see? Today I created that one, and status is success. Usually it takes more than 5 minutes, so I'm glad to see that the status success, it's right away done. But don't be afraid if the status is still running or you don't see any status whatsoever. When you go to My BIP Reports, sometimes it takes a while, right? 5, 10 minutes, 2 minutes. That honestly I cannot tell you exactly the standard time because I have encountered so many different times. But glad to know that the report was created right away. So if I want to see how my report looks like for Annex B, I click as I did before on the hyperlink. I click on Open, and I see the list of major equipment as it is in Annex B. List of major equipment. Excuse me for that. Well, I think it's still thinking. Let's see. I don't know what just happened. Yeah, I kind of like I've been disconnected. Oh, if this is a bad problem, let me see. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, let me just close the session. Yeah, I guess I was too positive. So let me see a question. Leah is asking, well, I'm singing in again. If I would like to make a report on SUR that includes in the restrained female police officers, how should I put that in a query? Would this be possible? Well, we said yesterday that I think the system is going to be enhanced for Annex A, so we can identify the number of female and male troops. Once that's done, it will be on two different lines. Once you create a report on Annex B and Annex A, in this case, you will be able to see the list of troops by gender. Okay, but we will have to double check on that because that will be part of, I think, work package number 2, the Annex A. So let me log in again. I'm sorry for that. Okay, so now I see my list of major equipment, which is the list of all the items that, let's say, for example, Saida entered previously, and I see the quantity and the item description of all those major equipment, let's say, for Annex B. So obviously, this is kind of like a small report, probably an SUR, standard SUR for, let's say, a regular operation will have larger list of items in Annex B and of course Annex C, but this serves as an example for you to, let's say, launch a report with all these different items, in this case in PDF. So let me go back and try to log in again, just in case, because to be honest, I don't really trust. Let me just close it, sign it. I'll log into to the system. Okay, so I was on my BAP reports. Remember that the first report I've created was in Annex B test 2. I click, let me just save instead of open. And then this is my list of major equipment for this particular SUR. Okay, so it's quite straightforward because it works for all these different annexes the same way. Remember, you have to go to, in this case, SURs and select. I'm going to select another one, select a particular SUR, and from there, select the different annexes underneath. In this case, for example, Annex C header. I will perform the same thing I did before, going to this bar chart. The pop-up appears. In this case, for Annex C, I put a name for my report. Output type PDF. I click on Submit. Go into my reports. And I see now the status still, it's blanked, so it's taking some time. So test Annex C. It's there, it's running, it's let's say in the back end of the system, so we'll leave it there. And I may want to jump into the export. I don't know, we don't have any questions so far before I go.
Yeah, Julius is asking if we can make one report for all headers.
Yep, to the best of my knowledge, we cannot do it in one shot. You will have to go one at a time, Annex A, B, and C, but instead of saying that, I don't want it to say that and written in stone, we may want to go back and ask Shalini and the technical guys in ICT to make sure that we are saying the right thing. But to the best of our knowledge, we don't think we can do it in one shot. While we are researching on that, I would like to show to you before we finish, because we went through the printing option, we know how to create the reports. Always do start with SURs, and from there select the annex, otherwise you will not be able to create the report. But I'd like to show to you how to export the list of, let's say, SURs, or list of records, you name it, because this will be applicable for all these different list of records in UCMS, MOUs, if you are talking about MOUs, or verification reports, items, you name it, it will work the same way, which is once you have the list of records, in this case my SUR list, and I want to export all this list into Excel, I will have to go to Menu and click on Export. As I explained yesterday, this is the, let's say, the standard pop-up that comes along when you click on Export. As a rule of thumb, basically do not change all these different options. Basically, when you click on Next, you will be exporting into a CSV file. You see, output CSV file, which is a spreadsheet type of file. It's not a Excel per se, like formally it's not Excel, but it looks like Excel. So basically you see this is a CSV file that you can play along. You see all these are records that were previously shown in UCMS. Now they are exported into Excel. Okay. Another piece of information in case that you are keen on using the Excel or spreadsheets, if you just click on Control T, and I will do it, I will show to you later, but Control T, automatically you can create a table of list of records in Excel. And if you click on my table has headers, the system understands that the first row are the headers. I click on OK. So automatically I have a pre-formatted list of records coming from the system in Excel. And you see that the header part has automatically all the filtering done for you. So from there, you can select a particular mission, for example, MINUSTA, and you will see the list of SURs for MINUSTA with the different status and unit types and so on. So that actually comes very handy. So as let me go back. So this is the way that initially the file is exported. If I click on Control plus T, excuse me, Control T. Control T on my keyboard, then I will be telling the system to basically create a table, and from there I can do a bit of analysis. And this works, as I said, for all these different documents and records in UCMS. So if now remember that this is a CSV file, so if I want to make sure that this is an Excel file, I will save this file, the desktop. You see that it comes automatically with a CSV, so I want to change that to an Excel workbook, and now I save. Now I'm making sure that this is an Excel file, and from there you see I have now all the options in Excel to do pivot tables, to do graphs, to insert more tables, to link and create different formulas, you name it. But all this coming from the initial page, list of records, stored in UCMS, go into menu and export. And remember, basically as a rule of thumb, do not change these different options because eventually you will be able to transform into Excel. And do you have any questions, Aida?
Yeah, just one clarification to make on if the effective date can be displayed on one SUR, and I think it's yes, right? If the effective date is displayed in the different reports. muted. You are muted, Danny. I don't know why.
Hello?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Sorry for that. Maybe there was a bandwidth problem. I don't know. So did I probably will explain myself again. I said that it's a good thing to create a table only in one shot, which is Control-T. You transforming the list of records that initially comes, without a format. With once you create a table, you will have a predefined format with different filtering, and you will be able to do a bit of analysis and even share this file with some other planners and colleagues in the mission in headquarters as well. This, as I said, it's applicable not only for SURs and SATs, but for any list of records that you will find in UCMs. So before closing, let me go back to my VIP reports and see the Annex E. Remember, now it's success test Annex E. Now the status is success, so I click there. I'm afraid that, let me see. Open, and this is in this case the Annex E was very poor. It was only one item, but applicable for all these different reports. And let me just, before I finish, output type, let me select one in Excel so you see how it looks. Remember that you can create a report instead of PDF into Excel, and this is how it looks. For example, this previous report I created previously. So if I create a report in Annex C and the output type instead of PDF is Excel, this is how it looks. Okay, this is an Excel file that you can format, enable editing. You can keep formats, and you can amend and change accordingly, right? Sometimes you want to, before even closing the whole Annex C, you want to work it with your colleagues, and maybe you want to use this Excel file rather than going back and forth to UCMS. And once everything's compiled and agreed, then you can, create the Annex C in UCMS. So remember that all these different options are in the and these different features are reflected in the exercise that we showed you on day 1, navigation, print preview, exporting with different screenshots. So you will be able to do the same thing that we have been doing the past 25 minutes regarding printing, regarding exporting, and creation of reports for Annex A, B, and C. Let's see if we don't have any question. If we don't, I will hand it over to Zaida. I don't see anything in the chat. Over to you.
I don't see any additional questions. So, but if there is anything that is not clear, even with the explanation that Danny provided, you have 1 hour. We have 1 hour together with you after this session, so don't hesitate to let us know and send your questions there, okay? So I think, thank you very much, Danny, for all those very detailed information and very clear. I think that's the end of our session. If there's no additional question, I would like to just present the exercise of the day. And which is very straightforward. Of course, it's very much linked to what we have just seen during the past hour and a half. So I am just trying to make sure that I have all the information. So what we are going to ask you to do is, again, go in the system. This time, the instructions will be less guided, so less detailed. that comparing to yesterday. We wanted, because now you are more familiar with the system, you know how to navigate in UCMS, so you will be able to just follow the different instructions without screenshots, etc. So we are slightly increasing the difficulty in this exercise, and we are asking you to create an SUR from scratch without any SAT. So just what we have done before, and we are asking you to create Annex A header, Annex B, Annex C. We have several items in Annex B and C in the instructions, and we will ask you to export Annex B and C, just as Danny showed us to do that like a few minutes ago. I will ask you to also download the SUR main body template as I showed you. You save all 3 documents and then you upload them back in the attachment of your SUR. Okay? And this time, actually, you don't have to send us back anything. You just have to confirm that this is done. If there is any issue, any problem, you can always send all that to our email address, ucstraining@un.org. Otherwise, all will be done online. Okay, and tomorrow, once we'll check all the exercises, we'll see who did what and if you did that correctly, and we'll check if you have exported your Annex B and C properly, how you did that. And you please do export Annex B and C. The best practice is to export it as a PDF, okay? Because normally this is the final version of your Annex B and C, okay? So we will ask you to export it in a PDF format and upload it back in the system. You download the SUR template, it's a Word document, and then you put it back again. Put your name on in the remark section of your SUR, and name your Annex B and C with your name as well, or the document. That will be easier for us to link it. It will be easier to track it as well for us. So I think yes, you will receive an email, and today I will make sure that this is sent with all the relevant information and correct information. I'm just checking that. Just let me first, please, stop recording first.